Hello, I'm just going to do a bit of a test stream of the Icarus beta weekend number 5. This weekend they bring in the desert biome, so that's something new. It does keep your level, so you can create multiple characters, customize colours and headsets and whatnot. When the game does release at the end of the year, so prospects are the session-based ones where you've got a set period of time and it's real life time. So if it's a 4-day prospect, you get 4 real life days, no matter how much game time you play. The objective might be to gather a certain amount of resources, or it could be a quest where you've got to find satellites that are scattered throughout the huge map, crossing multiple biomes, snow and tundra and desert and forest and whatnot. Outposts, in the prospects you also have to cater for the weather effects. Storms, we'll get into that. Outposts are a permanent fixture, so if you just want to craft a home, a huge castle embedded in a mountain or something, that's what you do. It's your permanent, this is where I can do whatever I want, not have to worry about aggressive animals or storms and whatnot. Quick play, I'm not sure what that is yet. You can see your tech tree, so as you level up you'll get skills, and then you also get talents. Skills are where you pick things that you can make, so stone piles and wood piles are handy, so you're not carrying, because everything is encumbrance based, so you can carry say 100 kilos. 100 lots of wood might weigh 30 kilos, but you can use 100 lots of wood and make a furnishing piece that you can put down somewhere that isn't affected by the weather, so they're handy. Fire pits and fire whackers are very good for if your building catches on fire from a lightning storm, or you've got a campfire on the ground and a wolf runs over it, catches on fire and then sets your house on fire while it's attacking you. Various tools. You need knives for skinning animals, so very important. Spear, it's a melee defense. I don't really use it much, I go straight for the bow. And if you get a stealth shot, you get 2.5 times the damage, so you can, hitting them in the head, you can take them out one shot. And then you unlock different arrows, doing more damage or whatnot. Pickaxe and stone axe, wood, and all the various types of ore that you get around. Torches are very handy because nighttime gets super dark, you can't see anything. Bandages and sutures, wolf attacks, you'll bleed out. Bandage, you can heal up. Crates, very handy to store all your excess material. Oxidizer, because you're in space on a half terraformed planet, the air is poisonous, you can't breathe it. You collect this blue ore, which I'll show you in the game. You either put it into your helmet into a little special slot and you slowly consume it, or you chuck it into this oxidizer, and the oxidizer will fill up this balloon on top, which you can then go back to and take a full tank from. And then you've got all your building materials. Thatch stuff, don't even bother. If anything looks at it sideways, it's going to collapse. It only has like 500 health per thing, so any kind of storm will gradually eat away at that. Storm damage might do 100 lots of damage randomly over the whole building, 100 units of damage, so if you're using a roof of thatch, you might be repairing it constantly throughout a storm. Wood has about 1,000 health. When you get up to tier 2, which I think unlocks at level 10, you then get more things to craft and build, different benches, ladders to put oxygen and water in, wall torches, stronger tools and weapons. You can get into more crafting things, but the best thing about tier 2 is you get stone buildings. I've only locked at level 15 the masonry bench unlocks, so I shall be putting points into stone. You can also, if you want interior to be wood, you can unlock interior timber. Level 20 and level 30 unlocks other stuff with, I'll let you pause the video and have a look at some of this stuff if you like. Recurve bows, aluminium crafting, different sorts of armour. There are guns, so as you unlock the tiers you can get into higher tier weaponry. Tier 2 I think has, I only got to tier 2 and that was bows. Tier 4 you're into compound bows and titanium composite armors and fancy stuff. And your talents are your individual skills. So resources, exploration, hunting, cooking and farming, you got a whole bunch of different skills. So extra weight capacity, more stamina, access to a skinning bench, so you can, when you kill an animal, you can carry it back to your skinning bench, chuck it on there, and you get more materials back. Constructions, repairing, tools and building, combat, if that's your thing. If you're only going to play solo, this tree is quite handy because it's got a lot to boost up your solo capacity, like extra stamina regen, movement, health, less usage, less consumption on your tools, more warning on storms, very handy. Yeah, ability to carry more things, lots of skills, lots to do here. So yeah, we're just going to go into a prospect. And if you're playing multiplayer, you can actually see the other space pods landing too.
If you're heading to the desert, you need a way through the mountains. Exploration teams reported a cave system. Could be a path down there.
So these are small deposits on the ground, so oxide is the one you use for oxygen. So
it ain't your first rodeo, but this
and you do have an
Icarus.
oxygen thing here, so you can chuck
So
it
don't
straight
let
into
your
it.
guard
Your
down.
oxygen tank will deplete.
You'll
This
need a
will top it up
radar
as you go, or
and the
you can just
regions
eat it.
marked on your
Consume
map. Between the dust
inventory,
storms,
crafting
wild
benches,
animals,
crafting on your
and
person, and
whatever
the
else
benches
is
have their
lurking
own.
out there,
Tech tree,
you'll have
talents,
your work cut
and we
out.
don't have the map thing yet.
Safe
So
journey, friend.
this is the size of the world, and it is very large. So my objective here is to get to this cave, locate the cave system, find a route to the desert, reach the scanning zone, deploy a radar, complete the terrain scan, return to dropship. End of it. That could take days of real time, depending on what we've got to do. This is pretty close. The last one, there was a lot of travelling. There was a quest object here, one down here, and one right up over here. I didn't even bother doing it, I just played the game and explored it. So, we need to gather a whole bunch of stuff. Everything can be gathered. So, ferns gives you fibre. More oxide sticks on the ground. Berries are really good because they give you a buff, increases your stamina regen for a short period of time. Cooked food does the same thing, and cooked fish also does it. So if you combine all three of them, you'll get really quick, like stamina and health regen. Now there was a bug in the last beta with shadow. Yeah, you can just see it over in the distance where the shadows are flickering a bit. Just on the shoreline there, that black line. So that's still a thing, but it is mentioned in the forums, so I think it's AMD graphics cards have that bug. So if you've got an NVIDIA, then you won't see it. And this foliage here, it can actually cover things. So in the last beta I killed some baby deers, and when their bodies fell to the ground, they were actually half covered and you couldn't see them until you got really close. And you get that white outline over them. So, big things obviously will stand out, but the small things might be difficult to spot. Let's craft stone axe, or a pickaxe, bow, and that's ours. So I'm not going to bother crafting a spear because I didn't use a spear at all last time. Just found it quite useless. So yeah, you can right click to zoom in, pull right back. If you let go of the left mouse button, you'll shoot. And if you keep holding it, you start to get a bit of a shake. If you don't want to fire, just change your weapon. A bit like the forest, you chop trees down, but you don't have to carry them back in whole things, so chop the branches off, split it, and then pick them all up. And then you get your wood, the fibres from the plants. You can accumulate them pretty quickly. Just eating one of them, you can consume a whole stack, but with the berries they don't give you much, so you're better off just consuming one. And then you get this buff. Increases your stamina and health. The cooked food does the regeneration, I think. I can't remember what the fish does. So I'm just going to grab a bunch of wood, then I'm going to go explore looking for a cave system, because if you can find a large boulder like that one over there, pick up some of that stuff in a minute, use your pickaxe, and you can tunnel a hole into it. The big one. So it all deforms as you're going. But you might still get the protection. Yeah, so in a storm now I'm actually protected. Even though there's a hole, you get a bar that goes across the top of your screen, and when you're in the elements during a storm, it fills up, and then you take more and more damage. You get less health regen, you get less stamina and stamina regen, so you can't run very fast or very far. It's quite bad if you're caught out, so having one of these as an emergency, you get in the top right hand corner a little alert saying storm coming, and it tells you what it is, and then there's a grid and it goes along telling you the severity of it. So in the forest biome you get a windstorm, a rainstorm and a lightning storm, but then you got various grades of it, so it'll be like windstorm green, windstorm orange, windstorm might go back to green for quite a bit, and then it might go windstorm red, like really strong damage, lots of bad effects, buildings getting ripped off the ground, really bad. So you can have a combination of the different types of storm and the severity of it. Each biome is different, so the snow biome has snowstorms and blizzards where you get a full whiteout. You can see, like from here to the Rockaway, could be obscured. The desert biomes also have a sandstorm, which can be quite bad, I would imagine. Don't know, because this is the first weekend of the desert biome. I'm just going to grab a bunch of resources. So it's very much like the forest and 7 Days to Die with the survival aspect. Have a whole bunch of things, but try not to go over your weight limit. So I've got 120 kilos. With talents I can increase that, and you can also craft. When I get 100 units of wood, I can craft a wood pile and just place it on the ground. Then I can go back to it at any time and pick it up and use it. Well, there's a level 1 deer. Higher the level, the more damage you need to do to it. Food would be good, so I just heard a bit of a grunt. Grunts are bears. Can't see a bear, but I did hear a grunt. Crouching down gives you the sneak attack bonus. You can also shoot fish as well. you can kill them, they don't give you much. I'm just conscious of a potential bear nearby. I didn't take one on last time. So they're now close enough that they come up with a little indicator, and it will actually fill up the more it notices you. So if I was standing up, it would notice me and it'd probably run off by now. Doubt I would have got that. And when you get a headshot like that, it zooms in. Now there is a baby deer. I feel bad, but I need to eat. So when you don't have a knife in your hand, you get the indicator to carry it. If you put a knife in your hand, you can skin it. You get your arrows back, you get meat, bones and leather. Bones are used for a fair amount of crafting, so they're handy, particularly when you get bone arrows. They do more damage than a stone arrow, so we'll take it all. Meat does spoil, so you'll see the green here is its full health. It will drop down until it hits 0, and then you'll lose a unit, and you get a green spoiled meat and spoiled food. Spoiled is good because you can still use it in the campfire to make stuff. You can eat that, but it's a lot better if you eat it when it's cooked. Now water is getting low, and when the skeleton's here, you can chop it up to get more bones. Drink. Skin Bambi. Durability on your tools and weapons. Stone knife does not last very long. You probably get about 3 or 4 kills skinning before you need to replace it or repair it. You can just right click and repair. It uses 1 stone. Higher tier weapons. It does use your stamina, so you can see the stamina bar in the middle. So repairing things mid-combat is generally not a good idea, so keep your stuff repaired when you're going out. Now I'm not sure if I'll be able to edit some of this out, so I'll try to keep the grind to a minimum. But it's good with the shadows and all the foliage here from it. You just, hello. Sorry. You do kill a lot of animals. There you can see how it's quite dark here. An animal just noticed me up there. Now, this is not where I was in the last map, this is the next area on, and I do recall there being wolves around, so I'm just being cautious. There's another deer. That's a rabbit, okay. So you see, is the rabbit pushing the tree? Stop that. You do kill a lot. Yeah, so it's quite dark here, which is when you're doing this later in the afternoon, it can already be dark, and this makes it really dark. But then as you start chopping things, the foliage goes away and the shadows clear up. Just cool little things. Now you will collect a lot of fibre, that's fine, because you can use it in the fire. It burns out really quickly, but yeah, good emergency source of firewood. Got a whole bunch of shrubs. Show where the rest of that tree went. So when I'm ready to leave, need to make some more arrows. I might get the campfire and the bedroll going. You can sleep, so that noise was a bit of meat going off. Or something, I can't see. I have to check that. Crafting bench, bedroll, I need fur. So you can only sleep in a bedroll if it's next to a lit fire. So you just need to be careful of that. So this is normal stone. And this over here is a big oxide deposit. These are the little ones you can just pick up. And grab a chunk of them. You can see down the bottom left corner, like most games, you get your health and stuff, but you've also got your oxygen. And with stone, as you break them down, once you've broken down 90 or 5% of it, it just goes away. So you don't have to get every little piece. You can see my stamina bar in the middle there. And then that's it, it all goes away. So there have been a few occasions in caves in particular, or you'll get rocks that are right next to other rocks. If this oxide was right next to here, I'd have to break some of the stone to get at the oxide inside, which, you know, cool thing. Have another drink. You have to be careful drinking from natural water sources because you can get bacteria, which just reduces your stamina regen for a while. So let's see if I can get a little fishy to come close. Big one over there. Now there are also aggressive fish. I think that's one of them. They come up and bite you, and they're poisonous, so you get a bit of a debuff on you. That'll do. Just going to see if we can get that later. And that'll just slowly drop down as that increases. So you've got some fish. It's going to be a little bit of a base up. Make some more arrows. So I'm using wood, so we use it all up. Everything you do gets you experience, so keep grabbing stuff, keep crafting, chopping down trees. So we're looking for a big cliff face that has, it's a sort of depression about the size of that little outcropping there, in a flat face. That signifies that there's a cave system behind it and you just chop your way through it. It's weatherproof, but a lot of caves have it's a hypothermia debuff, so you don't just hide in a cave the whole time and not have to deal with storms. You can only go a certain distance in. Some caves, stepping 2 or 3 meters in is fine, and then it's bad. And other ones you can only go like 2 or 3 feet in, and then you start getting hypothermia. The debuff lasts, I think it's about 2, maybe 3 minutes, and then you get the hypothermia debuff. So you get like the warning, gives you a, you know, if you stay here much longer, you're going to get hypothermia. Once you get hypothermia, it gives you like a 50% reduction on your stamina regen and your health regen, and I think your max stamina, and that lasts for like 10 or 15 minutes, so that can be a bit nasty to have. have to keep a good ear out too. Bears, you hear that sort of grunt kind of noise. Wolves, you generally won't hear them, and they sort of crouch down a little bit as they're walking around, but they do tend to be in packs. So if there's one wolf around, you'll probably find that there's at least another one wolf, if not more. This is Sulfur. You use it for some early to mid game crafting. You use it. There's a little rabbit. You use Sulfur to make the permanent torches. So you can carry a torch around. Very handy to have them for caves. You can drop them on the ground. But if you drop them onto something flammable, like a wooden floor of your hut, or right here into the grass, it'll catch on fire. Which can be cool, but also really bad. That is the Sylvic something or other, silica ore. I'm just keeping my back to the mountain here because I know it's safe. The Cameos, it's like a goat. They run away pretty quickly. Quite prolific though. As well as talking about with the two different ores side by side. See, it's embedded in there. Yeah, it's cool. If you do come across wolves, get to rocks, because they will protect you. They may not last forever. The wolf might find that there's a way that they can get around and get to you, but even if it gives you an extra arrow or two, that can be a life or death. Particularly because wolves tend to give you bleed damage. A big deer over there. I think we'll give the meat a miss for the moment. Yeah. This is a small cave entrance. The one I had before was like the size of this. It was huge. So that's that debuff that popped up on the screen, now down the bottom corner. It's just a warning. A underground health regen, water consumption and stamina are down, and if you stay there for a couple of minutes you'll get a hypothermia. You've got copper ore, which you need to craft. That's your third person if you like third person. Not so much to me. Crafting torch. Stick that up there. I heard something. I'll just pop out, get rid of that debuff. Go back in. You just right click to turn your torch on and off. So that's copper, that's gold. You need higher tier tools to be able to get into the harder stuff. That's steel ore, or metal ore, iron ore, some kind of metal. That's like charcoal. There's some fresh water supply. Quite a bit of ore in here, so I'll definitely be coming back to get that once I get a base set up. I'm not going to use this one because, yeah, just stepping inside and you get the debuff, so not a good place to stay. I'm actually going in the direction of the cave, so... Constantly keeping an ear out for dangerous animals. One of those games that makes you constantly keep your head on a bit of a swivel. But it is very nice to look at. Okay. This looks familiar. I think D11 or D12 was the zone I was in last time, and I think I travelled up to here and maybe a little bit around. It looks familiar, but I'm not totally clued in on where I am. Just need to find a cave to get set up. You could just go straight into building a wooden farm. I don't have the materials to make the masonry bench yet, so I can't get the stone ones out. But yeah, as you saw from the last beta, the wooden farm, the wooden house that I left on it over the water did not fare too well without repairs. And if you're constantly having to go back to your house when there's a storm to repair, you don't get very far. And you can find things like this, lilies and wheat, a few other materials as well. You use them to craft like potions and salves and just sort of minor healing, stamina kind of regen things. I wonder if I just neglect the cave and just build a house now that I've unlocked masonry crafting. Just get going with this place and upgrade it to stone when I get the materials. Ooh, that hurt. If you can get that headshot in, saves you a bit of time. Yeah, so it kind of blends in a little bit, and that's a big one. I'm actually right back near where I started, so I'll go the other way. Another dude. It was a nice shot, but I still feel a little guilty. Go away, baby. The thing about the stone tools is you can repair them very easily. The metal tools you've got to take back to your workbenches. And so some of the higher tier stuff, you know, like a gun, you might need to carry a spare around if you're going to go out for a while. There it is. Go. So step on you. I'd just like to get a cave to start off, so I've got can do some quick exploring, get some adventures going, and then worry about building a proper house. So this is out of bounds for the beta. Just go back in time. The sun setting. Very, very scenic. I didn't actually see the sun's rays like that in the last beta. That looks quite nice. I can't remember what the key is to get rid of the UI, but yeah, you can drop your UI and screenshot it. I'll do that later. Being in valleys means you get dark a lot quicker. There's my pod over there. I think I'm just going to make a bit smaller house. Good floor. For them. Walls. So you can see in the top right hand corner that's a rainstorm. So it goes green, orange, red, and the highest one is black. So that's an orange colour, so it will do a fair amount of damage to a building. Nothing too strenuous, but I've also got the talent that gives me an advanced notice of storms, so that's why I'm not rushing to get into my rock. That's it. So that'll be where I come. So now you can see in the middle of the screen the storm exposure. debuff. If I go into here, you can see the effects. So it's only 20% movement speed, so I'm not super worried about it. I'm going to eat something. Food is low. See up there, the top left, the top right, sorry, the yellow storm is being followed by green, so it's not going to be much of an issue. And going into my little cave, exposure goes down. Storm incoming, pop out. We're on the tail end. I don't have any storm debuff. Cool. So I'm nearly half full. I did chop a tree down over here. It's too dark. See the planet up there? Rain clouds. Alright, I'm gonna go back over here, create a little house. Alright, go. Create the house up a bit higher on and have stairs going down. So you build materials and then you put them in your bar to actually use them. We need poles, wood beams, say 10. I'd like an auto sort button just to snap everything up a bit. So it's going to be made on this night. Do I have enough to make a bedrock? No. Actually, I think you get fur from killing deer. As you build out, you can see where your stability is. It's actually fairly stable now, surprisingly. I might have it go out into the water a bit. told, you can choose what shape you want. So wood roof, ramp, roof, stairs. Not too sure why it's not snapping. There we go. Maybe one more. So, yeah, there's my drill. Make it a bit bigger, put some walls around it. Don't really want to drop that down. But, last time I didn't put the campfire on the ground, I had it in the cave, and then I went straight from the campfire to the fire pit. And then as you're making one of the benches, it's a bigger, like a hearth inside. And they will actually go into stone, so you don't have to worry about trying to fit them in. Like, this is a whole wooden thing, which is this big, and it's half embedded in there. And you can make trapdoors. So a wood floor trapdoor with a trapdoor, and you can put a ladder, which is up here. Thatch ladders or wooden ladders, so you don't have to have a ramp, you can just have a ladder going up. Probably better for like a bear defense. But I got my, we'll call it a treehouse. Water is low. Just use this. Just to use it up. I think I might go one more out and then another, at least one out. And then I'll have like a flat piece and then going back down. And you can demolish things. You point at something and you hold U, and it breaks it down and puts it back in your inventory. So that's cool. And you can also build a upgrade hammer. So you've got a repair hammer, and repairs are free, but your hammer has durability and it uses stamina. So you can't just sit there in a store repairing all the time because you run out of stamina, and your repair hammer will die. You've got to repair it, which also uses stamina. But a building upgrade tool allows you to have a wooden structure, build the stone upgrade piece for it, and then you upgrade it with a hammer, and it uses that stone piece and upgrades the timber into stone. That way you don't have to pull it out and then replace it. So I need to go cut down some more trees. First night playing this, I was pretty lost. Sitting in the dark, not being able to do anything. Stumps you can chop out as well. First person channel. Alright, so just doing the construction bit quick because I don't really want the torch sitting there like that. Food's getting low again. Whether I best putting the campfire down. Let's give it a try. Put a stack of that, because that'll burn quick. And you just put your things up in here. So it tells you in the corner, put meat, makes cooked meat, put in flatbread, makes flatbread. Charcoal will come from spoiled meat. Cooked fish, snow makes water, and bears and mammoths give you prime meat, which makes prime meat. You can see how quickly the sticks are going. So that's a couple of seconds per stick. A piece of wood goes much longer. You probably get 30-40 seconds out of one. House hasn't caught on fire yet, so that's a bonus. Good if there was a little stone lip out here I could put it on. I think the fire might be okay on wood, and they all just pile up out here to indicate that they're done. But the video I saw, I think they might have actually stepped over the fire, caught on fire, and then walked on the wood and killed themselves. So let's continue that. Cooked meat. 75 stamina, 100 health, and 10 health regen per minute. So having those two buffs up when you go out exploring makes you a lot better. So 40 seconds. Alright, that's there was 3, 6, and 9. Just to support that. Another 2 floors. Walls, another 2 of them. I'll make another torch. And put my oxidizer down. And deactivate that now. Oh, it's morning time. So you can see in the top right hand corner it's 6:43 AM. We're in the forest biome, 19 degrees. Graphically though, the game is really nice. Alright. So I can see what I'm doing. Freaks me out a bit. Expand that out another row as well, just to make it a nice, decent sized home. Maybe take these stairs out and put a balcony around the outside edge. That looks like it's safe there, so good to know. I really want to have gigantic windows everywhere. actually get rid of that until I put another one up to support the roof, so that's good to know. Windows 2, 4. Do a door while we're at it. You can do double doors as well. I think it's pretty enough. You can put in lots of windows. When you bring it close, it gives you the red must snap. And you can just pop it down. It's cool. See out there the arrow, the way it points, that's pointing out, and that one changed to this side, pointing out, just so you have the right look. So now, that's all the windows. This house should actually be secure. Up all this and hold X to pick it up. You oxidize it down because an oxidizer is one that you actually have to have. It's up. I haven't got that wall section. I'll put that over here. So I need one more wall section. Roof section, which I need some more wood. Still a bit nervous about having this. I'm going to have it right over here. And you can use your crafting benches like storage as well, so leave them in there. They won't actually do anything, but they're not in your inventory. I just dropped charcoal. Leave that up. And just leave it off. It was the top of a tree that landed in here, but looks like it's despawned. There's no aggressive fish. fish with it. Good to know. This is just a windstorm, but strong winds can still damage accounts. So I'm not that worried about a windstorm destroying the house at the moment. Damage your house. They can destroy it. So yeah, stuff here. As far as I know, closing windows has no effect on whether the gas takes damage or not. So I don't think you need to get back in there to do it. I'm just adding oxide stone here. You can add 10 at a time, and it will inflate that balloon and turn it into oxygen. Just to save you having to put it into your helmet like that. Put in my fish box. See here the health when you've got the repair hammer, so it's 1,000. Doors, I never had doors and windows take damage during storms, so I don't know if it's just not a thing. So we're getting the yellow windstorm, which will do damage, and you'll see chunks of wood falling down onto the ground, so it's visible. See the balloon there as it increases. This a bit wider. I may get rid of that the stairs down there and put in a trapdoor with a ladder, something different. They won't have to worry about bears or wolves coming up and taking my door. But they'll probably just attack the support, so I'll be upgrading them to stone. We'll see if there's any damage to the house. No, it didn't take any damage at all. Alright, well, that's it for now. I might eat my piece of good fish. But, wrap this up for now, and I'll play a bit more later on.